All right, welcome back to the SSL Family Dad channel. We're out here in the woods a little bit, cutting up some of the larger trees that fell actually about 2 years ago, about a year and a half ago. And I've been waiting to get a larger bar for my chainsaw. It makes cutting through these just a lot easier. So let's check out the new Oregon bar and chain. Tell you a little bit about how I like that so far, and then I also want to test some of the moisture content of this wood that has been laying on the ground here for a while. So this is the Steel MS362 CQ, and this is a really great saw. From the manual it says that it can handle up to a 24-inch bar, and so this is a 24-inch bar. Both the chain and the bar itself were ordered on Amazon. I think both of them are made in Canada. I think the chain and the bar itself are both made in Canada. So it's a really nice bar. It's got a sealed sprocket on it, so it doesn't require any grease like my Husqvarna does. It came all kind of greased up and ready to roll. The chain itself doesn't seem too bad. I will say that cutting through, so I got, I don't know how many cuts I made. I cut through maybe 8 to 10 cuts through that oak. I've got another one laying back there. It's all oak, and I did hit the dirt maybe once or twice, but this is about 1 tank of gas to cut through all this stuff, and it is starting to get a little dull. It's still cutting pretty good, but I usually like to run a file through these, after every tank of gas, and that seems to be about the same with these. So for those of us who cut wood often and heat with wood, the biggest question we always have, that I always have anyway, throughout the year is, how long is it going to take this wood to dry out? When is it going to be ready to burn? And that's different there's all kinds of different factors with that, but one of the things that I'm trying to test out here is how long does a standing dead tree stay wet? Stay green. If it's a standing dead oak, is it going to sit there for 5 years and then I cut it down thinking I'm ready to burn it that year and it's still wet in the middle? And then also, can I drop trees and let them sit on the ground and then the next year, come out and cut it up and split it? Is it going to be ready to burn? What about trees that I've logged up like this? Can I leave them in rounds like this and stack them and then come back and split them, and will they be ready to burn the next season? So there's lots of different things to consider. Burning seasoned wood is always optimal. It is the most efficient way to use your wood. It saves you time and energy and gets you more heat. And so we always want to burn it as seasoned as possible. But a lot of times we get in a pinch and we just need to burn something. So let's check out this wood here, kind of do a couple different tests and show you what the moisture content is. So all this stuff here is a tree that actually came off the top of that. It was about 18 months ago, so about a year and a half ago. That fell off and landed in here, and the whole top of the tree was out here. I've been cutting off of it all year, but the biggest part of this trunk was laying here. It was how it was set in here. It was pretty much off the ground. So that's all these pieces right here. So we'll test the very end, both ends, and see what the moisture content is, and then we'll test a cut right from the center of this log and see how much moisture it held. And then back here we have, you can still see the rest of it. This looks like it uprooted and fell down. There's still a bunch of it laying over there. This has been here since before I moved in. So this is at least over 2 years. I'm gonna say probably 3 years this has been laying here. And the way that this was propped up, it was off the ground. So these 3 sections right here are very similar to what a standing dead would be. So they were off the ground. It was still connected to the tree, but it was off the ground and not cut up. So we'll test this and see how wet this is. All of these logs, these are all oak. They're about 20 inches or pretty close to that. So this piece I actually cut off a few weeks ago. So let's just test this, get a couple different tests. So I've got this general moisture meter set to wood. It's another purchase that I got on Amazon, and it's been pretty handy. So at the end here, I'm at 16%. That was what they consider. I think it's anything over 15% is considered high. I'm totally comfortable in the outdoor burner burning anything under 25% or 20%, but I wouldn't burn this inside. So even though this was cut a few weeks ago, this end here has not dried out. Okay, so this was an end piece of this log, but this is a fresh cut from today. So this was closer to the end of what was exposed. So that's at 26. So this is still super wet. This was one of the center cuts off that log. So this was furthest from the ends. That's at 34%, 33%. Even though this log has been sitting here for a year and a half, it is still green. I mean, if you were to test a live tree, I bet you it wouldn't, it'd probably be 40, 50%. So it's practically still green as it can be and absolutely not ready to burn. So this is the tree that has been sitting here for probably 3+ years, and it was off the ground. So this would be very close to what a standing dead hardwood would be. And this is the uncut end. So this is the exposed end that's been sitting here for all that time. So let's see where we're at with the end. So we're still at 17% at the end of this. So because of the rain and snow and other things, this has been getting wet and holding moisture. So we're testing it right towards the center. 16, 17%, even 20%, 30% out here towards the bark where all that moisture is getting trapped underneath it. So this will start to rot like this even though it's off the ground. So let's test the inside of it on this end. This would be the fresh cut from today, but close to the end. %. So this log sitting here for 3 years, off the ground, standing dead, still at 30+% moisture content in the middle. So this one looks like it had an animal in it. But let's check this. This is a fresh cut from today, further in the center of that log. So let's just test it over here. 26, 27%. 22%. So it's actually drier further into the tree, but also because this is kind of rotted out in here, this may have helped to dry some of this wood out. Let's take a walk down the hill here to some of the wood that I cut and split from an oak tree in the spring, so not quite a year ago. It was cut from these trees right here, these 3 stumps. And then it was split pretty close to that. I split it earlier this early summer, so it's January now, so it was maybe about 7 months ago, something like that. So that's at 13%. So even though this is on the end, and this oak has been sitting here for less than a year, it's been split and stacked for less than a year, and it's not been covered, and it is 100% ready to burn. Now obviously the ends are going to be the driest, so let's think of this wood like straws. The moisture is going to be drawn out to the end as it evaporates. So the ends of the wood are definitely going to be the driest. We're at 14% there. If I were to cut this, a fresh cut here, which let's take this up to the shop and do that, but I have a feeling the center of this is going to be have a lot more moisture in it, but I still think it's going to be within burn range. 15%, that's definitely acceptable. But let's cut it on the saw, see what the center is. All right, we got a fresh cut in the center of this piece of wood. Now this is split pretty small, so it should have dried out pretty well. What do you guys think? What's your guess? %. The outside dried out quicker. It's about a 14%. That's what's considered mid. The inside, though, is still 17, 18%, but still burnable wood. Quick summary, wood that is standing dead, especially if it's hardwood. If we're looking at oak, if we're looking at any of our maples, hard maples, and ash and cherry and all that stuff that we commonly find around here in Michigan, standing dead does not mean that it's seasoned. Many times I have thought this, many times I have gone out and said, oh, that's okay, I got 3 dead trees out here in the woods. I'm gonna save those for when I'm in need, and I'll come right out here, cut that down, split them up and burn them that week. That is not a good way to save wood. It's not gonna dry out. So even the stuff that has been cut into rounds that I have had laying around here for months, it doesn't really dry out in the center. It might get drier on the ends, but the center of that wood, you're going to split it and you're going to end up with a bunch of pieces that have 30+% moisture. According to most internet resources, burning wood that is under 20% is considered acceptable. It's considered efficient. Now, obviously, below 15% is ideal. That would be best. But anything for me that's close to 15%, if I got stuff that's 17%, 18%, that's totally fine. So having this knowledge for me changes the way I think about how I'm gonna process, store, and prepare wood for the next season. So right now I've got all the wood down that I'm gonna burn this year, but it's not all split and it's not all seasoned 100%. So because I had a misconception that I could cut trees down and log them up and then stack those logs or leave dead, I've got a lot of standing deads and dead trees that have been dropped around here. I'm thinking, oh, I can burn that. If I'm in need, I just drag that out and burn it. Well, that's not gonna work, especially if it's laying on the ground. It's gonna be even more wet. So ideally, if you are burning wood, looking to burn wood, looking to get one of these outdoor wood boilers, looking to heat with a wood stove inside, whatever it is that you're looking to do, having your wood prepared and split is key. That's going to be the key to having the driest wood, and it doesn't have to be covered. A lot of people, want to cover all their wood. There's no way I burn so much wood every year between the wood stoves inside and between the outdoor wood boiler. I would have, it's too much wood to cover. It's too much wood to store in wood sheds. So I'm storing it outside. Is that ideal? No. Is it going to work just fine? Yes, it's going to work just fine. What this means is that we want to prepare as far ahead as possible. For me here, how I do that is I dedicate about a half a day or at least a few hours once per week to split wood. And that gets me everything that I need to burn that week plus a little extra. And so I keep getting ahead. If I can do that all year, obviously there's some weeks I can't get out and do it. Some days I can spend longer, some days I can spend less. But on average, if I just plan on being outside, splitting wood, processing wood at least one day per week, that will get me ahead, and it will always keep me growing my wood piles and my split wood, and it will allow me to get more and more and more ahead so that I have better wood that burns more efficient, which means I'll eventually need to split less and process less and take less time. That's my plan. Hopefully you guys enjoyed just a quick update on wood processing, wood cutting, lots more to come. And what am I gonna do with that, the other bar, my 20-inch bar on that steel? What do you guys think? What's coming? I hope to get that video out next week if I can. So what's your guess? As always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.